We're here with Bill Valvanis, the one and only, the man behind the U.S. National Show. Bill, what's it been like for you? It's been a crazy, crazy couple years.
Well, welcome to the show. It's been 3 years since we were able to gather, and I think this is the first large bonsai gathering in 3 years.
I think so.
There's trees here from Texas to Maine and Portland to Miami. So people all over have come to...
It's a really big span.
Oh, yeah. Should be national.
Yeah. Do you know how many trees are here this year?
A little over 200.
Okay.
Wow.
And 111, over 100 Shohin bonsai.
Wow.
In 21 displays.
We noticed the Shohin this year it's just exploded.
Yeah.
It looks really great.
Well, I usually have a Shohin exhibition. Should be next year, but I'm not going to do it next year. It's too much.
Yeah. Bill, what's different about the show this year, other than Shohin, like what we just said? Is there any trends or anything that you're seeing in the show that excites you? Or
the trees seem to be more refined. In the past 5 or 6 years, there's been a big push on old collected trees. They dig up these junipers, fix them for 5 years, and put them in a pot, and there you go. There are not that many here this year.
Yeah, and the judges really seemed to favor last night. They favored the trees that have been a bonsai for a very long time.
Yeah, and they favored American trees rather than imported trees.
Yeah. It was fun to see.
It's obvious, I think, to anyone coming to the show, the level of refinement is increasing really quickly in the show. Seeing it from year to year to year has been really awesome.
Thank you for coming, Jonas.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Andrew.
Yeah, we're really happy to be here.
Good.
And we also want to take the opportunity just to thank you for putting on this big party.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
This is no small party. This is a really big party, and there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah, and you're not sure it's going to happen until Saturday morning.
Yeah, but it definitely happened.
It happened.
It
will happen well. We could have sold another 100 weekend passes.
Easy, I bet.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the venue limited us, and so did COVID.
Yeah.
So we had to pare down. But it's okay. What Diane did is Sunday afternoon is generally not busy. Mm-hmm. So for the vendors, she has a Sunday half-price, half-day pass for $15.
Nice.
I think she got about 100 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And Bill, is anything going on in your garden? I was just there yesterday, and besides running this incredible machine that is the U.S. National Bonsai Exhibition, you have a really big garden as well, and it's really impressive.
Well, what's
going on there?
I've got this crew of 10 people.
Okay.
They're all old. They're all older. They're all retired. They just come and help.
The Monday senior crew?
Yeah. They come and they weed, water, prune, dig holes, move stuff, weed again, water again. And don't forget, I haven't been in the garden since May.
Holy smoke.
Wow.
I've walked through, but that's it. I haven't touched a pair of scissors.
Oh, golly.
And that was my shoulder. I knew what was going to happen. I needed my shoulder. But they've been very good. And Diane, too.
Yeah.
She took care of everything.
So
They'd leave, then she'd go and she'd rewater.
We'll get you that new laser technology. You can just point and zap the branches that need attention.
Oh.
Yeah. Or a drone to just fly over and do it for you.
Now, this whole thing was 3D videos.
Yeah. What was that? What was that about?
You can see there's dots in front of each tree. And if you put your pointer there, you can see the whole tree around.
Oh, wow.
That's one thing. And the other thing, he had a drone. He got a lot more drone photographs.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
That's great. And if people want to see photographs of the show, they can buy the book, right?
Yes.
Where do they buy that?
Online, or else I have forms here.
Okay.
Same price as last year.
Great.
Pre-publication price, $55. Limited edition. The first one that we came out with, now $100.
Wow.
There's only a few left.
It's really hard to find. I just recently finished my collection and got all of them.
Yeah, I made
the
sure I did
first
that years ago.
The first one was really, really hard to come by. So they're something that people are really treasuring.
Yeah.
So
The first one of anything is usually the most successful. Like the first movie.
Yeah.
For the replay. And then with exhibits, like Kokofu 10 reprinted more Kokofu number 1. Because the first exhibit, and they want to have enough stuff.
Yep.
You can get number 1. Number 2, 3, 4 is difficult.
Ah, interesting.
Got a whole list I'm looking for, but I can't go look for them. They won't let me in the country.
Yeah, we're hoping that'll change before too long as well.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Tycon 10 is up.
Oh,
It's
really?
going. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Great.
And I'm a permanent judge, but I can't. Hopefully we can go see Coco for 10.
That's what my fingers are crossed for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of foreigners there because
Oh,
you
I
couldn't go
bet.
last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
You
Bill,
wanted to go.
Bill, any final thoughts about the show? Anything that's exciting you about what you're seeing in the show or with the people or anything like that?
I'm enjoying seeing the people enjoying bonsai and sharing of their trees. That's important.
Yeah.
Enjoying their trees.
And we're so thankful to you that you give us a space and a venue and an opportunity to do that.
That's what I do.
Well,
And you
well,
have
we-
been doing it.
You've
42
been doing
years
it for
for
a
the
long
magazine.
time.
Yep.
42 years printed magazine. Now it's a digital magazine. It's free. So
And
it's coming along.
Excellent.
Well, thank you so much, Bill. It's great to see you, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you, Andrew and Jonas.
Thank you so much. Okay, Andrew, you sound good?
I sound good. Do I sound good?
Sutin?
Hello.
Hey, we're rolling. We have a special guest right here. Tell us, what is your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name is Sutin. Goes on with is I live in Boston area. Boston. So Massachusetts. And today is U.S. national show, the 7th, right?
Yes.
So I'm really happy to come here and see a lot of bonsai tree, beautiful exhibition, and see a lot of old good friends, That's
Yeah.
one reason I came, because the pandemic is otherwise.
Did any trees strike you as exciting?
They all start be exciting because every year I see the tree different all the time, and the way the exhibition too get better all the time, especially Shohin, unbelievable.
They're a fantastic show here
Yeah,
this year.
yeah, unbelievable. The tree, my God.
Suthin, did you come to the very first U.S. National?
Yes, I come every one of them. Yeah, every one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7.
Yeah. And tell us about your juniper in the show. How long have you had that tree? What's the story on that one?
So the juniper is, I see that tree original from Japan. I saw that tree is 2015 when me and Doug Paul and then Marco went to see in Takamasu. You were there?
Yeah.
And that tree is for sale.
Mm.
Yeah, and then we bought it, and then we got it, and when you import the tree, that's old. We
Yeah.
lost a lot of branches. Yeah, we lost a lot of branches, and now we creation. So
Yeah.
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
What do you think about Shimpaku? Shimpaku's really fun and easy to work with, right?
Yes, very easy. I think my experience is Shimpaku really easy to work because they're really strong and growing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the thing I loved about your Shimpaku is I didn't see one wire on the tree.
Yeah, we call it. We've been trained, and the good thing about Shimpaku too, especially at Toikawa or Kisui, when you wire it up and then when you take it off, you might do it again 2 times and then it stay.
Hmm.
It's not like a pie. You have to keep every time you take it out. 2 months later, you have to bring it, wire again. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing about juniper, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Have you started your plan for the next national? How far ahead do you plan?
probably a year or two.
A year or two?
A year or two, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a long process,
Yeah.
But when you're not ready, I'm not showing.
yeah.
That's why I told my critic yesterday, you three not ready for show, don't do it.
And you have trees here for sale. What's that been like? Have you seen a lot of people buying trees?
It's amazing me though because what I'm thinking because with the pandemic for 2 years nobody traveling anything, people not really buy anything. That's why we don't bring a lot of things because we don't expect people gonna buy it.
Yeah.
But I see everybody, the sale people, the vendor,
Uh-huh.
people buy. It's just crazy.
Mm.
Yeah, for some reason maybe they've been missing for 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Have your trees been healthy this year? Have you had any challenges in the garden, or has it been a
Yeah,
good year?
this year top because it's Boston area is it's hot. The heat, I think all over the country, right? Yeah, even Portland too, right?
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
Portland.
We
It's
had
crazy.
we had 116 degrees.
Yeah,
in
normally
Portland.
in Boston, I live in Boston for almost over 30 years. Normally we have a 90 for 15 day maybe.
Yeah.
But this year we have 23 already, and
Wow.
almost, some days almost 100.
Wow.
The tree kind of struggling, especially my maple, Japanese maple. They're just not happy at all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even we have a shade cloth on top of it,
Yeah.
50% shade cloth, but still not happy.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the kind of.
Well, thanks so much for taking some time to talk to us.
Oh,
This has
thank
been
you.
Yeah,
Thank
fantastic.
you to
we
invite me. I
appreciate seeing
appreciate
you.
that. Thank
and
you.
Congrats again on your reward.
Congratulations.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Cheers.
It's wonderful. You know, the exciting part is watching newbies come in, people who know nothing about trees.
Have you seen a lot of new people here?
Yeah, quite a few. I mean, and they're excited about it, and they want to know more. And I think that's great because that can grow the hobby. Once people see what it's really all about, and you explain to them, you know, how they grow and what you're doing and how long it takes, and you know, some of them are taken back by that, but others are just as excited because they see what happens, how trees can change over time.
Is there anything that you're seeing different about this show compared to years past? Any trends? Anything that you're seeing in particular that stands out?
Or that you're particularly excited about.
Or not.
Oh, or not.
Or not?
Or
Dun, dun,
not.
dun.
Dun, 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 yeah. I'd say I am a little disappointed in the stand selections. I think we can do a lot better. There are a lot of stands that are way undersized. Not a lot, but enough of them that are way undersized for the trees that are on them, and they don't do any justice to the tree. So I think we've got a long way to pull yet, you know, to really start balancing our act a little better. The tree, the color of the stand and the color of the pot, you know, sometimes they just clash and take away, and you're looking at that and you never see the tree. So we need to pay a little more attention to our setups, and it's not just how they look in the garden. When they do come to a show, that they should be special and they should look right, and the stand shouldn't look like something that was just put together yesterday and didn't get the final coat on it or was the wrong color. We got stands that are way too small for the tree pot that's sitting on it. You know, it almost overlaps the edges, and in some cases does.
What did
Colors.
people do this year that people got right?
They brought their trees in, and that's a blessing. So it was nice. It was a trial because some of the people have, many of us, you know, we're afraid to step out and see what's going on because it's a scary world out there. You know, if something does happen to us and we're getting older, you're still young, Jonas. You can. Oh, I want to be back there. No, I don't either. Actually, I like where I'm at. But when you start to see what the trees do for you at home, and then you bring them in here and you enjoy them at home and you put them up on a stand, and when some of the people that come in and start to show, even the professionals, you stand back and you look at it and it's like, oh wow, that was really worth it. That was really worth it. I put all this time into it. Now it looks wonderful and it's a nice place to look at, and other people can appreciate it. I think what this show also has, a little more so than local clubs and smaller size shows, we have a good group of people around here that can talk about the trees. And you have newbies come in and they're asking questions, and they're asking good questions. And even if they're not asking questions, we can give them the answers before they ask. And they look at it, and some of them, it's just, you can see that little thing go off in their brain, and it's like, wow, you know. And then they start, well, what about this tree? And our little talks tend to extend out a little longer than what is usually prescribed because you catch somebody and you can see their interest and their excitement about something, and you want to bring it along because we certainly enjoy it. I mean, this is our lifeblood, and thank goodness we got into this because I can't imagine. I've been in other hobbies, and I won't mention the dogs showing and all that. So it's the same thing, but this is different. These are they're not running loose. We have to really look at each tree and develop what that tree personality is. It's not just the type of tree and you're going to style it because it's a juniper, it goes this way, or because it's a pine, it goes that way.
Oh, but that'd be so easy.
I know, nothing is easy. It shouldn't be easy. Let's make it harder. But it's just, to me, it's a dance. You know, trying to put the right design to the tree, following what that tree wants to do. It's like trying to raise a child. Luckily, I haven't had to do that, but I've got a lot of pseudo kids around me. But they may be 40 or 50 years old, but they're still kids, you know. But trying to bring a tree to a point where the balance is wonderful and the color is right and the texture is there now, and then you get your foliage prepared and looking great, and nothing is awry except the pot. So we always have to back up and start looking at things and say, well, you know, if it had a different pot or if it was on a different stand, we could show it off in another way. So you never get to that point where it's perfect. There's
What's fun
always
is that's how
something
we
more
can
to do.
participate.
Huh?
When we see something like that, we can say, oh, if I had that tree, I might think of this kind of stand, or oh, what
Yeah.
if we had that kind of pot? It kind of makes it interesting for us.
Well, it does. That's true. We do have something, or we have something to complain about. Hey, Rodden should do a better job here. You know better than that. No, everyone has their own idea of what beauty is. Thankfully,
Yeah.
because
I
some
think
of
we all
us,
benefit from that.
we all benefit from that. So it's the same with the trees, and after a while, the trees also become our family. You know, even when they don't belong to us and we're just taking care of them for someone else and working on them, at that time while they're in our yard, it's our family and we work on them. I don't know. I just think it's a great hobby. It's a great job. Can't even think of it as a job, really, because it's just too much. It is fun.
It's just something we do because it's
something
fun.
we do because
Yeah.
it's fun and we enjoy it, and we just totally immerse ourselves in it. And I can't think of anything else that I'd rather do.
Well,
Well, that's a
that's a
fantastic note.
perfect way to end it. Thank you so much, Kathy.
You're
It's
welcome.
great to see you.
Okay.
So tell us your name. Where are you from?
My name's Dave DeGroat, and I'm from Puyallup, Washington.
Wow, so you're quite a long ways away. This is where the three of us all traveled out here
Yes.
all across the country to come to New York for this amazing show.
Yeah, and
What's
for-
the show like for you?
Well, it is amazing. This is probably my fourth time out here, and every year I'm delighted. I'm delighted by the number of trees. I'm delighted by the quality of the trees. And I was saying yesterday when I did my little critique that one of the things I like about this show is there are always some people who are kind of going out on a limb, as it were, and taking some chances in terms of how they've designed their tree or how they've managed their display, and to make it uniquely their own and not necessarily being formulaic about it.
Were there any favorite chances that you saw that people took in this year's show?
Favorite chances?
Your favorite risks
Yeah.
that people took this
Yeah,
year?
any examples come to mind?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we're standing kind of next to one, actually. One is over here, and I don't know that I'd call it a risk so much as I think there are some things that I see here that are a little bit remind me of a couple different cultures. So we're looking at this spruce group, and the base of it appears to be like what we'd call a clump style, because the trunks are emerging from a common base, right? And so then we can identify the primary trunk, the secondary trunk, tertiary trunk, and so on and so forth. And then there's a long horizontal member, which in a group with direction, we can assume we're going to have something that might be nearly horizontal. But then instead of having branches, it turns itself into a sort of a raft style, and we now have additional trunks emerging from that trunk. And as I said in my critique the other day when I was coming around and I stopped here, it reminds me a little bit of when I see in China the Penjing raft style. The trees are not on or in the soil. They're above the soil with the roots exposed. And so this kind of thing where it's almost a sort of a raft extending from the clump with the separate trees emerging from it kind of gives me that impression. So this is, to me, is sort of a hybrid kind of a composition that I think it just gives me pleasure to see something that's a little different like that.
So I was curious how we might think about that. There are different ways of looking at these outside of the standard conventions, because a lot of really conservative interpretations of what bonsai look like give us these prescribed styles. And so as we veer outside of that, one can either be thinking of us as broadening our definition of what's acceptable or lowering our standards. And so how do we think of the kind of trade-offs that we're between in terms of why wouldn't we want to stick to something rigid, or why do we appreciate it when they do fun things like this?
Oh, okay, so my oft-repeated, I'm going to give you my little spiel about aesthetics now, okay?
All right.
Awesome.
And so my little spiel about aesthetics is, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, is that there are three elements that I call universal in terms of aesthetics. And they are what I call proportion and balance and harmony. And those things within a composition, I think, can be applied to any kind of art, really from any period, and they'll hold. And you can say this is well balanced or it's not, or there's a certain relationship in terms of proportion or it's not. And then there are, on top of those three, what I call three universals, there are the three biases, what I call three biases. And so the three biases are, number one is cultural. And so that means when we look at traditional differences in clothing, in architecture, in music, language, and so on, that these kinds of biases about what's good architecture, beautiful architecture, we could take a Japanese house and put it in the middle of Milan, and it would not stop being beautiful, but it would look, out of place perhaps, because it's not in concert with its surroundings in that case. So there's that cultural difference. That's an easy to see or imagine difference in architecture. So then the other bias that comes into play is fashion. So fashion is a way that we explain ourselves as being kind of in group, that we are kind of on the same page as our peers, our colleagues, our fellow citizens, whatever. And whether it's in clothing fashions, that change, or even in bonsai fashions, where at one time formal upright was very popular back in the 50s, and then that dropped out of popularity, and then later on, and I use these examples over and over, later on, corkbark, for instance, corkbark pines became very popular as looking rugged and old, and then it was decided that no, that's really artificial because the trunks aren't like that, so they dropped out of popularity. Now the extended branch is very, very popular. It seems that's almost a necessary. The so-called feature branch is, even though that has nothing to do with nature, it has to do with that this is what's now popular. This is the fashion at the moment. And then the third bias is simply personal taste. So, I mean, you like red, I like green, and that's a product of I don't know where that comes from. But, I mean, where we see it most often in art, whether people decide whether art is good or not, is their individual tolerance for tension in the art. So the things that are what's the word I want to use here? Things that are kind of comforting are the things that fall into place. Okay, that trunk is the same shape as the trunk that's next to it. I see something repeated, and that lets me in my head establish a pattern, and now that feels right. Okay, so something that gets kind of predictable, and I know it's supposed to turn out that way, that feels right. Now, when something doesn't turn out that way, when something breaks the pattern or whatever, that's what I call a tension element. And so this has a lot of tension elements in it. It has a lot of crossing trunks. It has a lot of crossing branches. And so some people will look at this and they'll say, okay, I don't like that because in their mind, there are too many tension elements and does not seem fully resolved. And for other people, like for me, I look at it and I see all those tension elements, but I'm comfortable with that level of tension. And I say, well, to me, that looks like something that has not been overworked. And I know it's in the early stages of development. It's still early. I mean, it's not fully developed yet. But I'm looking at it and I'm saying, but there's enough in there that's congruent, that follows a pattern, that I find in the end that from the congruence and from the contrast, in the end I get a feeling of resolution, that somehow these things have been resolved. And it has a particular flow to it, and so on and so forth. So that's a lot of talking about one tree, but I mean, you can look at something like this and find all these elements. And
speaking of elements, you have a wonderful book that you published in the last few years. Tell us a little bit about your book. It's Elements of Design, right?
Well, it's Principles of Bonsai Design. It's out of print now.
Okay. So it's a rare commodity. We gotta fight each other to find one.
It's a rare commodity. Now for the last year, I kind of got distracted by the fact that we were in COVID lockdown. Mm-hmm. And so I started spending some time on doing like things that could be done via Zoom and so forth. But now I've started turning my attention back to coming out with a second edition of the book. So hopefully it's not going to be immediate. It's not going to be in the next 2 or 3 months, but hopefully within the next 6 months we're going to see the new edition. So it's going to be not very much changed. I'm going to replace some photos. I'm going to add some photos. I've got a couple things on styles that I want to insert. But essentially, it'll be the same. It'll be the same book. Yeah.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing that.
Well, thank you.
Is there any other thoughts or any other feelings that you're getting from the show this weekend?
Well, okay. So I like the fact that we're kind of hitting all aspects of bonsai in terms of Bill has allowed for what are in effect almost tokonoma displays, especially where we're in the stone section, right? Yeah. And so that there is some allowance. It's hard to do hanging art behind the trees with the fabric backdrops, but it can be done and has been done in some places. I think the lighted the Shochin display over here is an example of trying something that's a little different. That's not, we all acknowledge how beautiful it is to have the traditional Japanese type Shochin display stands. I had an article in BCI magazine a couple issues ago about one I created for our club for the sake of versatility, in which there's a board that sits on the table like a backdrop, but it's covered. There's a sheet metal covering on it, and in the little shelves are magnets, strong magnets, and so without having holes or grooves or ridges or any kind of anything to interfere with the backdrop, you can have different size shelves that simply grab on to the backdrop, and you can put them wherever you want. You can change the arrangement, you can change the size of the shelves. The fact is you've got a backdrop that's just behind it, so it lacks maybe the depth that some traditional displays will offer. But on the other hand, there's almost unlimited versatility in terms of how many trees do you have. What is their relationship? How are you going to place them? What is their size? And so, that's kind of an interesting oddity that Just wanted to try something different, you know.
Cool.
But I got off track. But I'm talking about the fact that there are stones here, there are kusamono here that get their own section, and the bonsai with the two different really types of display. That where we have these that are almost put into where we're standing. Of course, we can't see that. This isn't video. But we're saying it's almost trying to create a tokonoma effect. And then we've got these that are on the long tables that are giving a more open effect. And so, you know, we have different types of display. We have different colors of background. And so that's the display end of it, where I think there's some variety in the display end of it. So we've got good variety in the trees. We've got a nice little stone display. We've got a kusamono display, and there's something here for everyone in my view. So I enjoy it, and I've been enjoying it, and I hope to keep on enjoying it.
That sounds good to us.
Yeah, thanks so much, David. It's always a pleasure to chat with you.
You bet. It's fun for me too. Thank you.
This is Bjorn Bjorholm from ASAN Bonsai Garden in Nashville, Tennessee.
Good to see you.
You too.
Yeah. How's the show going for you?
It's been really good. I've been really impressed with the quality of the trees in the exhibition and the stuff that people have at their sales booths too. It seems to go up in quality every single time.
A lot more age on the trees in the show this year.
Definitely, yeah. I think, you know, a lot of people have put a lot more time and energy into detailing their trees out, so you see that reflected in the show and in the quality of the trees as well.
What does this get you amped for in subsequent shows?
Subsequent shows, I mean, we're seeing a lot of, you know, native material in the shows nowadays, and a lot of that stuff, it takes a number of years for it to sort of really come into its own. And, you know, now that things are kind of settling into place, people have been working with the material for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's starting to look, you know, more settled. It's starting to have that, what they call mochikomi in Japanese, you know, where it feels like it's settled in the pot. It's right. It looks right. You know, it's refined but naturalistic, kind of. You know, there's just something right about the tree. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops into the future, particularly with the deciduous material, because, I mean, there's a ton of conifers that are in the show, and those are really easy to take from the mountains to an exhibition, you know, have that look to them in 5, 6, 7 years. But the deciduous stuff is like 10, 12, 15, 20, you know, 30 years before it starts looking good. But there's a lot of native deciduous stuff that people are starting to use now too, and it's looking better and better and better. So I'm curious to see where that goes in the future.
What native deciduous material do you like? Are you getting some collected stuff at your place?
We're getting a few collected pieces of material. So like down where we are in Tennessee, we've got the American hornbeam and the hop hornbeam are two that we're working with. I really like the hop hornbeams. You can go out and collect them, you know, as Yamadori, and a lot of them have really gnarly trunks. You know, most of the time when I work with deciduous stuff, if I'm working with like a smooth bark species like the American hornbeam, for example, I don't like seeing scars and deadwood and that kind of stuff on them. But the hop hornbeams, I would kind of equate them a little bit more to like a flowering apricot, where the deadwood's actually, it's hard, it looks good, it's gnarly, and it adds to the character of the trees. And you can get some really cool examples of them.
Oh, cool. Neat. We were talking about your juniper earlier. It's really, really fun to see it in person. What's it been like working with that tree?
So are you referring to the one seed or the Rocky?
Rocky.
The Rocky, okay. Yeah, so I've had that tree for I think 5 years at this point. The guys from Backcountry Bonsai collected it maybe 6 years ago, and then I picked it up the following year. And it's come a long way. The foliage mass was probably 3 times the size of what it is
There was
now.
nothing when you started.
Yeah, I mean, I developed it basically from nothing. So, you know, we put it in that pot a couple years back, and that was one of the first trees that I had at my nursery when we set the nursery up a few years ago. The issue down in our climate is that Rocky Mountain junipers revert really easily to juvenile foliage. And it's almost impossible to get them to revert back, particularly if you want to keep them in shape. So what's interesting with this guy, though, is that the way I've been pruning it and the way it's been growing, it looks a lot like a procumbens. And not like a procumbens nana, but like the sonade in Japan, like the true procumbens that you see collected in the mountains. So it has that sort of vibe to it, which I kind of like. So normally I don't like working with the rocky foliage, but it's kind of looking pretty cool pruning it in certain ways.
Yeah, I noticed it was a lot of juvenile on it, but it's a narrower juvenile. It's not like on the Shimpaku where it really stands out like a sore thumb.
Exactly, and it's actually consistent across the entire tree, so it looks like it's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you got some juvenile and some adult foliage mixed in.
Do you have cultural challenges with Rockies or one seeds where you are?
Not really. They thrive. We bring them in and they'll
That's
throw
great.
out elongating shoots, 6, 8, 10 inches long.
Awesome.
And the one seeds in particular, even in the winter, they'll throw out shoots that are 6, 8, 10 inches long going through the winter dormant season. It's pretty crazy. So, I mean, we get cold in Tennessee. We're down in the teens in February. but they're growing all winter long. So I guess the climate that they're collected in, it's a lot harsher than what we have in Tennessee. So they just keep growing and growing and growing.
It's cold and up higher. I know where they come from.
Exactly. Yeah, they get collected at about 4,500 foot elevation. Yeah.
And your monster's growing so fast.
It is. Yeah. I haven't styled it since we potted it last year. We've just been letting it grow out. But as soon as it shows over, I'll go back and style it up.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I'm excited about that.
Awesome. You excited to get back and work on trees after going to an event like this?
Definitely. Yeah. Just go back and relax for the next week or so. Yeah. We don't have any classes for the next 2 weeks, so just gonna kind of get back into the swing of things and relax a little bit. So
enjoy it. That sounds really good.
Good.
Well, thanks so much for checking in with us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to talk to you guys.
See you next time.
Absolutely.
What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, this is Young Choi. I am from Washington, D.C. area, Maryland.
And you have a big Kusamono display here, don't you?
Yes.
How did that come together? What
so
led to that?
last national show, Bill Varvanis asked to me, Young, would you be a next guest speaker? I said, sure, I would love to do it. But I asked him, but I wanted to have Kusamono exhibit section, just the Kusamono. And he didn't say yes right away. But next morning, he came to me and he said, yeah, go ahead, do it. So since then, I prepared this exhibit.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful and fun to see the different variety of plants and styles. It shows people that there's a lot of different breadth and diversity within Kusamono.
Yes. Yeah, so it is really hard to make really beautiful Kusamono exhibit in sports field. So I tried to make something unique and a little different than just to lay out the Kusamono. So I wanted to have something big, kokedama, the moss ball display, tall one. So I wanted to pull out the middle of the table. He gave me 5 8-foot long tables. And in the middle, I pulled that table and put some black backdrop and displayed moss balls on there.
You really broke up the space. It's not just a row of tables. There's a little tokonoma area. It's really, really nice how you were able to create some different spaces in that
and
area.
Also, I wanted to involve with all Kusamono lovers in the nation. So I divided America 4. So northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest. So northeast, mid-Atlantic region, I took care of it. So I brought all my Kusamono to display. South, reach out my students or other Kusamono lovers. They did Georgia, Florida native plants. So this is most all kind of native plants display, each section. And also California area, Cora and Sun Cheng from part of Texas, and Lucy, they brought from the California. And another section is the Pacific Rim. I asked Ryan to bring some Kusamono from that area. So he brought Michael Hagedorn's nurse log.
Yeah, the nurse log's really fun.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
And Greg Brandon's the 22 years old rose Kusamono in the broken shovel. That was kind of cool.
And that brings up a really good point that I don't think people really understand is that Kusamono, like bonsai, have and require age.
Yeah.
Like with a Kusamono, you're not just throwing something in a pot and using it, right?
Yes.
So talk about how we need age in Kusamono.
Yeah, so that's what I displayed. That's 4 different reasons to kind of create it that way. And in the beginning of the exhibit, I put another little information table about what is Kusamono, and also I worked on all the name of the plants we displayed, so they can find out what those are and who is the potter. You know, always people asking, what is this beautiful flower and who is this potter? So I put all the information in there too. So before I didn't know all about this. I know mine, I can prepare, but the others, I have to do everything in last minute
Yeah.
display.
You were
because
working very hard
Yeah,
over
I
there
didn't
the other
know
day.
what to put it in. It depends. So, yeah, it has been crazy busy since I came here
Well,
to work on
it's
all
really
this.
paid off. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank
Is
you.
there anything that you're excited about with Kusamono? What should we be thinking about or doing with our own Kusamono at home?
Yeah. Well, before that, I can talk about the aging kusamono that you asked before. So I brought few other stuff like other kusamono, like Lespadiza, the big tall one, on the suiseki section because we ran out of space. So we put it in kind of here and there. Or sumac. Those are 8 to 10 years old moss balls. It's long time, and so those are drought tolerant, and so not many plants can be like that way too actually. So some plants very tolerate to live like that way. So just to make sure they are not dry out, that is the very important thing. So usually just watering doesn't really work. You have to soak it. So just dump into the bucket or basin to make saturated each moss ball. So another one I really wanted to bring it here this time was the Nandina I created. That is an old one too, more than 8 years old. The beautiful Nandina. First time of the year is bloomed like sumac. It's first time in 7-8 years they didn't bloom at all and just leaves, but this year first time they bloom, so I was so excited. I want to show this to everybody. So the 3 clump of the beautiful fruit after flower, beautiful fruit sat on the Nandina moss ball. It was only less than 2 feet high, beautiful Nandina. So I want to have them make little bit red tint on the fruit to kind of show the fall. So I brought to the little bit sunny side to make them red. Right next day, bird ate all.
Oh, no.
Everything. Oh my God, not even single fruit left. All gone.
That is a bummer.
Yeah, so always really hard, insect and animal, bird. It's not easy, but I hope next year I can get fruit again to show you all this beautiful one. Yeah, so has to good care, especially watering is the very important thing for old kusamono.
Yeah.
And next question was
yeah, and what are you excited about? What with Kusamono? What do you want to go home and do next?
what I want to do in the next.
Or maybe, did you see anything in the show that made you want to help with the kusashita and help out with what we've got next to the trees?
Yeah, so I can tell every year the accent plants for bonsai is improving. Looks better and better. I can see some are really beautiful and just great. So I'm so sorry this year. I don't know, somehow we didn't get Kusamano award this year.
Oh,
There's
that's
so many
right.
wonderful, beautiful Kusamanos here this year, but we didn't have that. I didn't know. Anyway, yeah, I think they are getting, all the bonsais getting kind of know about Kusamano these days better than before.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is thanks to you and a lot of your teaching, traveling around to clubs
Oh,
and
thank you.
working with students. So.
Yeah, so my next when I back, I'm going back to work tomorrow.
Back to the daily
And
grind.
water them, and after exhibit, plants always stressed out.
Yeah.
So take care of them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Preparing winter.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. The display turned out really, really beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I look forward to seeing more like it in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love to.
Thanks so much for taking the time.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Thank
Jan.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So when you go on the dark web,
Yes.
what are the first sites you go to?
I mean, usually it's like Star Wars or Pokemon Go or different things like that.
Okay.
It's like the lighter side.
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Star Wars,
It's. I'm not as much into Star Trek as I
Yeah.
am into Star Wars.
Yeah. So we're here with Todd Schleifer. Good guy.
How
One of
are
my
you?
favorite people to
I
see
know.
at the
It's
U.S.
nice to
National
see you.
Show. Todd, your Doug fir is beautiful.
Yeah,
This
thank
is
you.
Really, really fun entry.
Thanks.
What do you think about the show?
I think it's great. I don't know. There's it's fun to see like the different species. Seeing like one of the things I really liked is when you come up this last row here, it's like they just have like Cusamonos but it's from like some of it's like northeast or southwest or southeast, and so just seeing a lot of the like just the fauna that grows in those regions. Also the vendor area is neat, and seeing like some new potters, because now that like Ron Lang is retiring, there's going to be a void there. So hopefully, it's like we can keep like having some better, or not better, but just like more potters start to come in, because there's always a void there, and I always tell them that it's like if you can make really good pots, you could do really well. So
yeah, there are a lot of pots this year. I feel like in the vendor area. You could walk through, you can see an antique Chinese, you can see a European, you can see lots of Western pots. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's good too, like seeing in the show, like how the native material is starting to develop and mature, and seeing more trees that are native that now don't have as much wire on, and so some of it, like looking at shows in the past, and then when I went to the trophy the last couple times, seeing how some of those trees there had minimal wire, and it's like, oh, we're a little behind there. But now, like with the trees that we have here, as they're maturing, you can start seeing them with less and less wire.
So for the spruce or the Doug firs, how many more years do you think it's going to be before you start seeing the age and character and the branch development that you want to see?
Sure. Like Doug firs, I think, because like with them being elongating species, and in general, like lower branches like to droop, and they put out like these long shoots, so they like to droop a little more. So it's like, I think Doug firs, you always have a little bit of a problem near the apex. Like they'll, like most trees, they grow really strong.
Yeah.
So I think with Doug firs, it's a little challenging. With the spruces though, and how they grow, I think within a few years, like 3, maybe 4 years, you can start seeing them with a minimal amount of wire. I worked on a tree that's being shown for Lauren Buxton, and a lot of the structural wires off of that, but there's still the secondary, tertiary wiring on that. But it'll, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, I'm going to say.
Yeah, the tree looks great. We were wondering how many
thanks.
more years before it gets really full.
Yeah. 3-4 years.
Have you already started lining up trees for future shows, or is it more of a last minute thing?
You always think in your head, like, well, what else? What could I show at the next one? And well, you're having a show too here next year,
Pacific Bonsai Expo.
So yeah, wondering.
I hope to see you at that.
I would like to be. So it's like getting more information on that. It's like, can I vend too?
Yes.
How do you get shows into, or like trees into California? That could be
get
a little.
Get a phytosanitary certificate from your county, and that should be it.
Yeah. No, but I plan on. I plan on going to that, so it's like, all right,
awesome.
what do you bring to that? So,
yeah. Anything different that you're seeing this year from other national shows?
I mean, I think this year, because I know like the truck from Florida didn't come, so I mean, part of it is like there's less trees, too, than I've seen in the last year. But I think for Canada's not here because that's closed down. So
right.
I noticed that a lot.
It's less trees, but I don't know. It's okay. And so like maybe in the next show we could, they'll be here. We'll have more trees. So I mean that's the only thing. It's like there's less trees, and I miss some of those people too from Canada.
There's some great people that weren't able to make it.
Well, and two, it's like the National Museum. They couldn't. Some of it's like political stuff. Chicago couldn't get trees here. Canada, they couldn't get trees here, and part of it is a lot of those botanic gardens and big collections like that, and government kind of run collections, they weren't able to get trees here. So
anything interesting in your practice, anything that you're excited to try new things, or what's going on in your studio?
Yeah, I mean, so like really in Denver, like I'm starting to shut down because my growing season's not as long, and anything you work on coming now like September on, it's like you can do spruce then. You can't touch Doug firs. Ponderosas are a good time, but it is a good time to clean stuff up. I don't know, nothing new that I want to like really talk about, but
you started classes recently,
I started
right?
classes, yeah, and so like I just did 10 this year because I was still traveling, and so next year I'm going to do twice as many. So that's one thing. Just stay home, and just focus more and play more on my own art form. So
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting to hear.
no, it's exciting. It is exciting. I got married, and I kind of want to keep her around. So it's
All
like,
right.
we'll try to
Congratulations.
stay home a little more. So
Well, Todd, it's always really good to see you.
yeah, it's good to see you guys too. And
Thanks so much.
yep, thanks for talking to me.
So Andrew and I are now walking through the vendor area at the National Exhibit, and we are surrounded by trees, pots, stands, tools, and all the other accoutrement you would expect at a top-tier bonsai exhibit.
Now, Jonas, I'm seeing a lot of things, but what's striking me the most, and this is just my bias, is what I'm not seeing.
I know what that is.
And there's not a lot of deciduous trees here for sale. Maybe 10% of what we're seeing is deciduous, but I think about 90% is conifers.
You know, I'd say it might be 12%, but that last 2% is all large,
Yeah,
which
there
is
are
still a conifer, but a
there are
deciduous
still
conifer.
some large here.
We're
But,
standing behind a stand with almost exclusively large bonsai.
Yeah.
And so it's true, it is a very green exhibit, but it's a coniferous green, and we see a fair number of some tropicals, a lot of trident maples, and boy, a lot of junipers, a lot of pines.
A lot of junipers and pines. There's quite a bit of yamadori, but I think it's pretty well balanced with more cultivated trees.
Yeah, I've also never seen so many different potters. There are people making their own pots. There are people bringing in pots from around the world. There's a kind of amazing selection of containers at this event.
Yeah, and if you reference what we talked with Now about in our previous podcast, you'll hear that we see a lot of antiques. We see a lot of Western pots. You even see European pots. If you look over at Ryan's booth, he has a good selection of Tom Bendas. Bjorn has some stone monkey pots. So there's quite a bit of variety, and not just the conifers that we're seeing, but in the pots as well.
Exactly. So tell us your name. Where are you from?
This is Sarah Rayner. I am from Red Wing, Minnesota, which is 60 miles south of Minneapolis, St. Paul, right on a river, a beautiful historic town. And I actually work out just outside the city limits on a family farm in an old granary, and that's where I've been working for the last 4 years. And then before that, I worked in town for 30-some years. So that's it.
When you come to these shows and you're setting up, what does it feel like to set up your pots and then have them disappear as fast as you load them
Yeah,
in?
we're standing in front of a very empty vendor table here.
Well, that always surprises me. I never ever think that's going to happen because I'm sort of my worst critic and maybe a little bit of a pessimist. I don't know, but I'm nervous every time before I come. You know, people don't probably think I am, but I really am. And so when I set it up, it looks like an awful lot of pots, but the response is wonderful, and you know, it's always pleasing when people come over and they're genuinely complimentary, and it's overwhelming actually, but appreciated. Yeah.
Now, Jonas told me something fascinating yesterday, and I think you've told me this before. You say that sometimes at shows like this, the best pot does not sell.
Absolutely. At least, but that's my, I have a weird way of looking at my things that other people don't, and so something will hit me as just being what I think is the best pot, and it'll be the only pot I go home with. And some of the pots I don't care for as much are the first ones to go. So it's just probably different taste, but it's also just the way I look at things when they come out of the kiln, and that I'm not the only potter. If you talk to other potters, they'll say exactly the same thing.
Now we're standing at your table, and there's maybe 6 pots left out of the hundreds that you brought. Is the best pot, in your opinion, still here?
Close. The one that's up on top, the one that has a Celadon crackle. It is a round, which isn't as popular as a shape, but and it's a little bit shinier than maybe a lot of people like. But there's so much going on in the glaze. And I look at that, and it looks really aged already because it's got this crackle going on it. And so if I were to come here and look at that, as a customer, that would be the pot I would pick up. But
Yeah, it's a
right,
beautiful
and
pot.
it's left, but that's fine. Right.
Yeah, well, maybe it will sell today.
Is it bittersweet to bring so many of your creations and watch them all disappear? I can't imagine what it'd be like to grow 200 small trees and just bye.
It isn't as much. I actually have sold trees at bonsai shows, and that is hard for me because the trees are a hobby, and more of my, I guess, my attachment comes from that tree. I'm not so much attached to the pots, except for if I see one I know I can't replace. The glaziers turned out really, really nice, or if it's a massive pot that I don't think I can reproduce, then I'm like, I wish I could go home with it just to have it in my shop. But no, I don't have any emotional attachment to them. Right. I mean, it's a job, right?
One of the potters in Japan, in his retirement, has started buying back his favorite containers. And it's very hard when you see them on auctions to outbid this guy because he was a successful
So he can just
potter.
buy them, right?
And he's converted the upstairs loft above his studio to a museum of his pots.
That's interesting.
And it's fantastic. And he's beaming ear to ear, showing
Right.
off.
So in
all of these
retrospect, he
pots.
would have kept those if he had known. He would have
Well, it
kept.
makes you
the-
wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I've always thought I should keep it at least a sample of year-to-year styles and glazes, or from the old kiln and things I know that aren't going to look the same the next time I make the series. I should keep an example of it, but it's sort of an afterthought, I guess. At some point, I don't remember what I did, and I think that's, yeah.
So one good thing about having the pots out in the world is a friend of mine years ago lost her home in a fire. And she said, what I learned is the only things I had left are the things I gave away.
Oh, that's interesting. Right, they're out
And
there.
Your
yeah.
pots will be out there because they
Right.
are usable, they are beautiful, and they
Oh,
are
thank you.
extremely well crafted. And that's from our perspective. That's
Right.
how we see your pots, and that's why we see them in exhibits and all over the country.
Oh, that's
There's-
really kind.
there's
But
a-
also, it's pottery, right? You can bury it in the ground and come back and dig it up later. It's still going to be a pot, right? There's a certain permanent aspect to pottery that a lot of art forms don't have.
So we'll have to bring a shovel when we go to her place and see what's buried
Exactly.
around there.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
How are the bees?
Bees are good this year.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
I don't know what kind of honey crop I have because I've been too busy getting ready for the show to take a peek under the hive. But they've been busy and they seem like they're relatively healthy, which is always the biggest challenge with bees.
That was your big fear, I remember last we spoke
It's a
about 'em.
huge challenge for every beekeeper to keep
Yeah.
those mites in check and not have them destroy your colonies.
Oh,
So
nice.
Right. Well, thanks so much for chatting with us. It's,
Oh,
it's
you're
great to
welcome.
see you, and it's been a rough couple of years, so it's good to see
well, and I
all
hope
these
we
great
have
faces
another one
again.
in 2 years instead of
Looking
having
forward to it.
Yeah, wait too
Yeah.
terribly long. So
Cheers. Thanks,
I
Sarah.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
We're here with Brussel Martin, and Brussel is one of my favorite people in bonsai. Brussel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in bonsai a long time, which is,
What's a long
in
time?
years, it's probably, I started in my parents' backyard in the early 70s, 1972. And so, I did it as a hobby for about 10 or 20 years and then got into business probably in the late 70s. And started going to Japan probably in the early 80s with Frank Mihalik. And we had a good time and, bought a bunch of good trees and shipped a few back. But yeah, I love bonsai, and I have a big commercial nursery now. And
Not just big, it's the biggest bonsai nursery in the United States. How many trees
Yeah.
do you have on the property?
Probably 100,000, 120,000 at a time.
That's a lot of trees.
That's a
quite
lot
a
of
bit more
trees.
than me.
He says it with a smile. We'd be crying if we had that many
Yeah,
trees.
yeah.
Well, hopefully they come in the front door and go out the back door. So it's become popular, and we're riding the wave, as we say, and then since COVID, our business has almost doubled.
Wow.
So it's really it's a blessing, and plus the little trees help fund our hobby.
Uh-huh.
So it's the best of both worlds, really.
What do you think of the show this year? Have you come to every single national show?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I missed one.
Okay.
But I think he did a great job. I mean, considering the conditions, and
Yeah.
it's a super show. I'm proud to be in it, and I think there's no doubt Bill draws the best trees in the country.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no doubt.
For
We
sure.
agree. Well, thanks so much for checking in with us.
Hey, my pleasure, guys.
Good to chat with you,
Thank
Russell.
you. Okay.
Matt Real Bonsai.
Tyler Sherrod, Dogwood Studios.
Where are you guys based?
I'm in North Carolina.
Portland, Oregon.
And how do you two know each other?
How do we know each other?
I forget, and
What
I don't want to remember.
Met him a couple years ago in Japan at this nursery, Shinji Suzuki's. This little blonde-haired, young 20-year-old kid was working on trees, and got to hang out with him for a few years doing bonsai.
That's the gist of it. And then in 2011, the tsunami earthquake thing happened in Japan, and that delayed Tyler coming to Japan to become an apprentice. And by the time he did make it, though, I was really happy that I had another foreigner, and especially an American, alongside me to kind of, I was pretty uptight in my first few years as an apprentice, as you kind of are expected to just be on edge all the time. So
I got him
Tyler
to
kind of
loosen
helped
up a
me to
little
just
bit.
enjoy whenever we could while being there, plus working really hard most of the time. So.
And you two have a connection to Andrew.
Yes.
Yep.
Andrew. How
Yeah,
I know
we're
you,
the
Andrew.
same
This guy.
bonsai family. I
Right.
studied with Mike Hegedorn, who apprenticed before these two guys at Shinji. So
Right.
we're all part of this fun bonsai family.
And I actually, from having taken over, I guess it was Michael, study group in St. Louis, working with Andrew's dad.
Yeah.
And the group of people that you've been working with for quite a while.
Yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
grew up working with in the beginning
Yeah.
of your bonsai.
So we're all very familiar, and
Yeah.
it's a fun time to get to see everybody.
Good to have a sense of community, and it's good having, I'll always enjoy the aspect of having a bunch of professionals in one area, like I know Michael does, and that's
Yeah.
still something that is a good thing, I'm sure. And
Yeah, and
just
both
like
of
to
you-
be more of a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and both of you studied with Boone before you went to Shinji.
That's right.
Which
I know you guys.
I wouldn't
from.
say I studied with Boone.
Yeah.
I would say Boone tested me to make sure he could sleep at night after recommending me to someone in Japan. So
Exactly, and that's how I,
I was
knew
I was
Michael.
kind of a question mark as a 17-year-old, or whatever. I had to prove that I could at least pull weeds out of cracks in the driveway at his place. So
So did you buy him off? How did you get that approved?
I don't know.
Hard work.
Morton probably put in a good word for me or something. You
Oh,
know.
that could be.
Hard work.
Morton, all Morton.
What are you guys excited to see about in bonsai lately? Are there any trends or things that you're seeing that are good? Any positive signs or things?
I would say it's just really good to see over the years since I've been back in the States, from finishing my apprenticeship, seeing the clients I've worked with and just bonsai in general. I can see the level getting better and better and better. Seeing a lot of these collected trees that are now have been bonsai for a number of years start to develop, and that's kind of exciting to see that growth in the United States. I typically, or a lot of times I'll say that, if I had my druthers, I would rather be a bonsai professional 100 years down the road to see all these trees have that time to develop. But, that's not going to happen. So it's kind of exciting to see that in the beginning stages right now. And, I think it's really, it's really picked up in the last, 10, 15 years or so in the States here. So that's really cool to see.
Hearing you say that reminds me of when I used to look at the old Kokufu books from 30, 40 years ago, or maybe 50 years ago, and then you see how little time it took for the trees to go from where they are to where they are now, and it makes you feel like we might be on a similar track.
Yeah.
We're just not there yet. And
Kind of like that early 80s time
It's
almost
really exciting.
in Japan, and seeing
Yep.
that change. Yeah, absolutely.
really exciting.
Yeah, I think a lot of trees have a long way to go structurally, but we're getting there. And it's an exciting part of the journey. I like enjoying the process, seeing how the trees change, as I know all you guys do, and a lot of people we work with too. And that's what's awesome about being here as a bonsai professional and working with people that you don't do all that much in Japan, or we didn't get to as apprentices and didn't have that type of experience. So that's been part of the learning curve coming back as well. But
And-
mutually beneficial.
And I would say it's really cool to see in the last, 10, 15 years, all the professionals, or some of the younger guys who have, some of them gone to Japan, some people just starting out and getting going, to now see this whole new generation of younger professionals and guys really doing this hardcore. Now they're picking up and kind of starting to take over in a way, not in a bad way, but just kind of put their fingerprints on things. That's really cool for the States right now.
Pass it on to the next generation.
Yep.
Yeah, always
course.
need the younger people taking the reins.
guess so. Yeah. So thanks
That's
so
us.
much.
That's us. I think. We're still young, right? I don't know.
We're still young. We're
Is that who were you referring to us as part of that?
I don't know.
Yeah, we still got a lot of work to do. But yeah, well, thanks so much for chatting with us, and it's great to see you guys at the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonas, and thank you, Andrew.
The music on today's podcast was brought to you by the fine folks at Blue Dot Sessions. Check them out at www.sessions.blue.
There's this funny scene where she's putting on a nightgown in their wedding night, and she's got her head through the armhole, and there's an extended scene in which he's trying to get her thing on right. It was just like untangling these cords, and it's like, no, you have your head through the armhole. No, this goes this way. Anyway, okay, I'll stop talking.